What is up, everybody? Man, I wasn't gonna wait till 6. Okay. Once I saw that Lionel and Baron were done, I've been waiting, chomping at the bit, ready to go. So here we are. What is it, like 20 minutes early? 18 minutes early? I mean, technically you can maybe say it's 43 minutes late. I wanted to go at 4, then I wanted to go at 5, and but I realized that Lionel and Baron both have a massive audience, and of which a lot of this audience watches both of them as well. And so I enjoyed watching Baron on Lionel and seeing what they had to say. And then who is Eagle Boy? Eagle Boy is the stairwell kid, right? Eagle Boy is the prosecution's Tyler Robinson. Like, watch here. I'll show you just to answer that. And we're gonna look at the case today, the court hearing, and what I think is pretty definitive proof that the person captured on the UVU campus video is not Tyler Robinson, and they all but kind of say that. Let me hit images. So I don't know, maybe I need to trademark the term. This I call him Eagle Boy because you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to call it Tyler Robinson. I'm not going to call this kid Tyler Robinson. You know why? Because it's not. Just because it's not. It's not Tyler Robinson. It's Eagle Boy because he's got this eagle and this American flag T-shirt, right? That's why I call this Eagle Boy. This is the only. Let's see. Is there another clearer picture of this? Not really. Not really more clear. And this is as good as it gets, you guys. Right? Right? Like they do not have good, clear picture evidence of, let's see, is there any of them that are not blurry? And like this is Eagle Boy as well, right? This is Eagle Boy as well. He's got the eagle on his shirt. That's why I call him Eagle Boy. I just don't believe this is Tyler Robinson, and I'll explain why in so many different ways. So when you look at his hair, when you look at his sideburns, his jaw, I know, and like this is just such a bad image. His ears, his shoulders. It is really, it's really hard for me to say that this same person is, let's go back, is this guy. It just objectively doesn't look the same. So his hair is brown. It's thinning. He is losing his hair. His ears are different. His jawline is different. His cheekbone, his complexion is different. His lips, just in the different photos I've seen, it just, Tyler is lighter skin color. That kid is more olive, a little bit tanner. And a lot of the photos that we see of Tyler immediately after, like when he was immediately arrested, let's see, like here, this is one of the first photos of him. He was not tan, right? He didn't have darker complexion at arrest, which is weird. This guy even looks different a little bit, but it's him, his lips, his nose, his ears. His hair is just different than that last photo of him in court. Just looks even, it's just so weird. I'm just saying, I'm looking at this photo and then this photo. I mean, one's straight on, one's out the side, but But yeah, so this guy, Tyler Robinson, is not the same as Eagle Boy. It's not the same kid. It's just objectively not the same person. So that is why I call him Eagle Boy, because I refuse to call him Tyler Robinson. However, I did hear Lionel and I heard Lionel and Barron both say this, and I agree. If they end up bringing forth proof um, that is like without a shadow of a doubt, it's Tyler Robinson that enters UVU campus, climbs the stairwell, gets on top of the Losi Center, goes behind that little building, and then supposedly pulls out a rifle. We hear the prosecution says today that the reason why the person's limping, they say it's Tyler, I say it's Eagle Boy. They're saying the rifle is in his pants, guys. So actually, let's go back to where that was. Let's look. So even here, whoopsie daisy. No, I don't want to click on that photo. That's bad. I don't want to do that. Let's go here. I want to click on this part of it. So he's bending his knees. Supposedly right here, he's got a rifle down his pants, right? Supposedly right here, he's got a rifle down his pants. Okay. You can see the outline of his phone. This is the same kid that is in that other photo that's outside before he goes underneath the tunnel. Where is the tunnel photos? There it is. Or the outside photos. This one is a good one, right? Here. Actually, that cuts off his legs. This is the one I want to see here. You guys, he supposedly has a rifle in his pants right here. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Right here. He supposedly has a rifle in his pants. Do you guys know what leg he was limping with? Mm-hmm. Yep. It doesn't really matter because either one, look how tight. You could see his phone. He doesn't have a rifle down his pants. It's so ridiculous. You know, it's just, oh, wait, where's that one? Does this one show the whole leg? Yeah, it does. Look at this. Where is the rifle, ladies and gentlemen? They're saying it's down his pants. Okay, it's not down his pants. You know why? So here he bends those legs. Here he bends the left leg again. And then we have, where's the one where he bends the right leg? Because he goes up the other stairwell. It's the photo from behind. And it shows his backpack. Show more. Here. Okay. See here, left leg bent, no rifle. See here, right leg bent, no rifle. Okay. Here, no rifle. Here, no rifle. Okay. The prosecution is saying that it's in his pants. Okay. Not in the backpack, not some fold AR in the backpack, which for sure there's no Mauser on this kid's body, on his person. All right. There's no Mauser. That is for sure. Oh, man. Hold on. Okay, I'm here. Wait. I've heard of the rifle in the pants. Let me make sure the audio's good. Let's see. Audio and video are good. Cool. Go max. All right. What? Yes. Mystic, what's up? What did I do? What did I do? Text me. What did I do? Did I do something? Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. All right, so that it's not freaking Tyler Robinson. Get out of here with that nonsense, you know. So it's Eagle Boy. All right, and yeah, I kind of lost track of my mind for a second. Oh, the prosecution today in court says that it was in his pants. That's why he was limping. Prosecution will say that. Mm. When they're saying he's limping, they're actually not referencing the still photographs of him entering campus, going down the stairs, going under the tunnel, and then up the stairs onto the loci. Um, the, the statement he is limping because he has a rifle in his pants is actually the Phil Lyman Ring doorbell camera footage. That's where he is limping. Okay. What's really, really interesting is in court today, they say that they definitively have Tyler Robinson on camera early in the morning driving his, Challenger or Charger. I forget which it's. I think it's a Charger, Challenger. The gunmetal gray one. Early in the morning, he parks in the UVU campus parking lot and then walks around the campus, like is near and around campus, but doesn't enter and get on campus in the morning. And then he leaves, and then the prosecution will say, and then he comes back in different clothing. So in the morning, when they see probably the real Tyler Robinson in his car, he's got the maroon shirt, the hat that we see him wearing at Dairy Queen, the pants, the long pants, and the Converse. But when Eagle Boy comes back to campus and is the one that comes on campus, he's wearing the black long sleeve shirt. He's got the hat. He's got the glasses. It almost looks like the kid's wearing shoulder pads underneath his shirt as well. And then the same Converse, right? The prosecution even says that the footage of Eagle Boy, but they say Tyler Robinson, in the afternoon when he enters campus, is hard to tell that it's him because they say that Tyler disguised himself, with different things to make it hard to identify him as Tyler Robinson. But he wasn't scared in the morning. So he came and got on camera in the morning, no disguise. And you guys have that. Okay. And then he's like, but later I need a disguise. And I'm going to change my complexion. I'm going to change my ethnicity. I'm going to change where I'm from. I'm going to change my hair, my texture. I'm going to change all that. Yeah, it's just so preposterous. It's insane. All right. Let's look at Erica Kirk's live performance. Okay. Hold on. Actually, I forgot. I got to add it because when I had to refresh my browser, it kicks out all of my windows that I have added to the scene. Here we are. Hopefully it behaves. The audio's not great, ladies and gentlemen, and I apologize for that. It is loud music as of right now. Yeah, I'm starting early. Sorry. Yeah, hello. Hey, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't Okay, I guess I should have sent a text out to the mods. I wasn't thinking about that. Why does the recording say that it's not no data detected while recording locally for at least one of your feeds? Please refresh. I already hit refresh. Get out of here with that. Well, can you guys Shabbat Shalom, Crystal? Crystal, you see you're a mod? MRK, do you see your little tool wrench? Your mod? Yep. Can everyone hear everything and see everything? Did you guys hear the music when I started playing Erika Kirk's WWE entrance? Could you guys hear that? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay. That wasn't actually the photo they used, did they? Of Erica? Yes, you can hear me. Yes. Hi, Dulcinea. Yes. Okay, cool. Shabbat shalom. Okay, hell yeah. Everyone can hear me. All right, cool. Everything's good. Thanks. Yeah, that's the photo they use of Erica. Is that what you mean? And all right, let's get into it. I got a lot to show you today.
Welcome. Look at this crowd. Love you guys. Over the past 7 months, I have seen the worst of humanity, but I've also seen the best of it. And it's reminded me that every day when you wake up, you have a choice to spend your days focused on what's broken, or you can recognize our freedoms and fight to protect them. As Americans, we are all privileged to live in the greatest country in the world. Is it perfect? No, it's not. Do we have problems to solve? Of course. Of course we do. But our country is the best that we have, and I do not want to lose it.
Do you guys think, I don't know, part of me goes like, she's saying our country. I don't know that she's really thinking about our country. I have this feeling she's thinking about another country. You guys know what I mean?
If you look around the world right now, Europe has surrendered itself to third world criminals, and under the Biden administration, we were on track for that for ourselves. But President Trump came in and course corrected.
Yeah, and then he course corrected again, and now we're at war with Iran, and that's amazing. That's working out really good. I'm stoked that's happening. Yeah, that was his campaign promise. More foreign wars. Yes. No peace in the Middle East. Yes. High gas prices for all. Yes. Yeah. That was it. No transparency, no justice for the victims, for the Jeffrey victims. Collusion nonstop with Philly. Yeah. Cover up after cover up, psyop after psyop. Could you imagine if they actually like campaigned for what they were actually going to do? Like if their campaign slogans and promises were not what we wanted to hear, but what they actually had planned for us. Could you imagine that? Holy smokes. We got a pandemic coming. Vote me in for that. Yeah, nuts.
In countries like Nigeria, radical Islamists are murdering Christians for their faith. In Canada, they'll tell you you're better off getting medically assisted suicide than believing in the sanctity of life. While in America, we understand that a free life is worth living. But there is nowhere else on earth like the United States of America. There is not. And with this powerful combination of freedom, the ability to live your life with your faith openly, and the chance to build a life, nowhere else like it. And nowhere else I would want to be, and I'm sure you guys feel the same exact way. But that didn't just happen by accident. It happened because generations have fought.
Oh, I got to make sure I cross some T's and dot some I's so that YouTube chills out. Okay. We're going to be playing people's videos. We're going to be adding commentary and criticism. I know it's your favorite person, Miss Erika Kirk, but you got to let me do my thing. That's the rules, man. All right. It's insane that it really came out that she was there in Georgia. There was no threat. She clearly flew home from Georgia back to Phoenix, where she's, Arizona, where she's at now. No threat to her travel plans then. Doing this event, which you would think, so the Secret Service can guarantee her life here because Trump's here, but couldn't guarantee protection for her life with JD. It's a different Secret Service. It's not the same one. I don't understand that. Yeah, I don't quite understand that.
And sacrificed everything for it. And because all of us, as a united front, said enough is enough and showed up to vote for President Trump in 2024. Amazing. We said enough was enough. And I'll never forget after that election. I know none of you will either. Charlie's sitting there. He was going through the numbers. He was going through the maps. He was looking at all the data points. And he said to us, he goes, this is it. He said, the red wall. He said, if you can secure Arizona, Nevada, and New Hampshire, and you're investing into these states and not just into these races, he said their maps will collapse and their strategies will fail.
Okay, that makes sense why they opened a new Turning Point Action headquarters in Nevada then, and why Tyler got Charlie to move from Chicago to Arizona. So if the maps are what she's saying was important to the Republican Party to get Trump elected, and most likely to get future Republican candidates elected, that means Nevada, Arizona, and New Hampshire will continue to be important. And then that's part of this red wall. I don't know what they're doing in New Hampshire right now, but I know that they're increasing their political arm of TPUSA's involvement and impact in Nevada. They just opened that, a few months ago. That headquarters of Turning Point Action is in Nevada. And we know that their main headquarters is in Arizona. I wonder if they're going to be having some headquarters opening up in New Hampshire.
And it inspired us to no end.
If you live in New Hampshire, watch out. They're probably coming.
Totally inspired us. But we don't get to just sit back and admire that win from 2024. We have to fight to protect it. Every day, that's right. Every day. And Arizona is home for me. I was raised here. I fell in love here. I got married here. We're raising our children here. And we're not going to sit back and just watch this state.
No, remember when Megyn Kelly asked her, if she was when she knew she was in love with Charlie? And I mean, oh my goodness, she couldn't even answer that correctly. And she couldn't answer it convincingly that she was attracted to Charlie. Nick Fuentes did a pretty hot take on that, which I wouldn't have came out that harsh on Charlie. But I mean, in all respective, just honest, Charlie isn't some stunning, gorgeous looking, model of a man. And Erica made a statement once that she wasn't going to be able to focus with Charlie in the room because he just was so gorgeous and handsome, which Charlie was many things. Gorgeous and handsome wasn't one of them, which is fine. We can't all look like frickin' Brad Pitt or that Hemsworth guy. But Charlie was a great person, amazing character, extremely intelligent, very compassionate, authentic. Yeah, we can't all be everything, So, but she just lies that For one, she couldn't even answer when she knew she was in love with him, when she fell in love with him, what she loved about him, and that she was going to be so hard. It's going to be so hard to focus with him in the room. I never got that from her watching them together, that she was just awestruck by him. You know, I got that from him watching him of her. Yeah. She couldn't be more of a fake person than she is every day that she breathes. You know, she just is fake. It's just so bizarre. I don't know. Do you think they paid the people there in the audience to be there? I mean, maybe some. I think it's sad that there's like actual real people there that believe in her. Like Gary, you know, Gary Paramount. Like, does he really believe everything he says? Or is he just that unethical and that corrupt that like he'll just say it? He'll just say whatever that they tell him to say. It just blows my mind, some of the just BS that comes out of his mouth and other people's mouth on X.
Or this country be completely torn apart. Completely torn apart. We're not going to watch that because they want this state. They want this state, and Turning Point Action will fight to defend it. And I refuse to let California become Arizona. Not happening. Not happening. We don't want Arizona to elect people like Eric Swalwell.
I'm confused. To let California become like Arizona? Isn't California worse? I mean, what? I don't understand.
No, we don't. No, we won't. But I will say, unfortunately, we do have his best friend, Ruben Gallego, here, so we have some work to do. We have some work to do. But seriously, though, I do not want a country.
But seriously, though, do you think that's on her speech? Do you guys think those words were on her speech? But seriously, though, it's like the blonde, the fake blonde in her comes out every once in a while. She just segues. She's talking about politics and everything. And then she's like, but seriously, though, seriously, guys, seriously. This is serious. I'm very serious. Take me serious. Do you see the podium? It says President of the United States. I'm wearing a pantsuit. It's baby blue. It's sky blue. Okay, because the sky is where I look. I look up because I look up to God all the time. He tells me what I need to hear, and I'm flying. I'm in the sky. Yes.
To look like the protesters outside who are celebrating the murder of my husband.
She had to drop that one. I don't think anyone's celebrating. I mean, I'd love to see the videos of the protesters outside. I don't think anyone's still doing that. I do think people did that initially, which was freaking disgusting, but the backlash came swift and it came hard and people lost their jobs. People got kicked out of schools for the crazy stuff they did. Some people got arrested for vandalizing like memorials that people put up, which they should. I agree with all that. But I think people like learned like, oh snap, there's going to be online repercussions. Like people like dox people and like we're like, this person is a educator at a school in New Jersey. Everyone get her fired. And they did. So I don't think that 7-8 months later, people are out front protesting you, making fun of your husband's assassination. I don't think anyone's doing that. I think people are just protesting you and probably Trump and this whole charade that you guys got going on. That I can believe. I believe people are protesting that. Yeah.
I do not want a country like that.
Nobody cares.
So let's not forget
Nobody cares what you want, Erica.
how quickly things can go in the wrong direction.
Tell us.
We just lived through 4 years of corruption.
Nihilist with a twist did a good breakdown of why she looks up. I'll have to find it later if we have time, or I'll play it tomorrow or something. She says it in the Megyn Kelly interview, but she's like constantly looking up. It's an interesting take. Yeah.
Dressed up as compassion. 4 years of that. You remember when we had Christian pro-life activists being persecuted for their beliefs? Remember when concerned parents were getting targeted by federal law enforcement just for showing up at their school board meetings? Remember Lake and Riley? I do.
Okay.
Remember wide open borders? 500,000 people poured into this state alone, thanks to an administration that didn't care about stopping them. And now, 452 days into the Trump administration, look at what has already been done.
Wait, is this because the midterms or whatever's coming up, you guys? Is that what's going on? They had to put on this event, this rally, and then they're just going to recite all the things that were going on under the Biden administration, why we were mad then, why we elected Trump to fix all that, and they're just going to try to remind us of how bad things were. Like, no, things are bad now. You don't need to remind us. Like, he ran on all of these promises, of which he's kept none. I mean, reminding us of all the corruption and lies of the Biden and Harris administration does you no good, woman. That's not why people won't turn out to vote. People are not going to turn out to vote now because of you and because of Trump and because of Vance and this war and Philly and Bibi and Jeffrey who? Are we still talking about Jeffrey? Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Bangina? That's why people are apathetic and don't want anything to do with all of this anymore. It's like, even when we vote in who is supposed to be the people's candidate, like it was supposed to be the thing that was going to turn our country around, and all we got is a fake revival. All we got was you and TPUSA. We got Charlie's assassinated, and then you guys all capitalize on that to then say, like, oh, this huge revival's happening. Bible sales went up, attendance went up, and baptisms went up, and like that's supposed to make us feel like our country's actually becoming Christian again. It's not. Paula White is the freaking spiritual advisor to Trump. Trump is posting that he's Jesus. They're mocking us. You're taking part in mocking us. You're pretending that you are something you are not.
Look at it. There are accomplishments. And yes, there is more to be done, but my husband and all of you fought for this, and we achieved it.
We didn't. Holy smokes. You guys, do you guys remember after we invaded Iraq and, Bush came back on that aircraft carrier and it said mission accomplished? 20 years later, we were still in Afghanistan and Iraq, and we basically accomplished nothing. So no, we haven't achieved anything just because Trump's in the White House with Vance. And no, this is not what we voted for. Everything we're getting right now is the complete opposite from what we were promised and what we turned out in record numbers to vote for, including your former husband. Your deceased husband ran and fought and got people elected on these promises that never have amounted to anything. No, so you haven't achieved anything. This isn't mission accomplished. This isn't the country we wanted and voted for. It's the complete opposite. That was Andrew Collet or Blake Neff or Mikey McCoy. They were like, hey, go into the crowd, dress like a normal person, and then like halfway through shout like, you too, yeah, Erica, we got you. And then she's going to turn and go, thank you very much. And it'll seem, genuine and very authentic, but it's not.
And now we have to show up again with 80 to 90% voter turnout in the midterms and fortify the red wall for the next decade. That's what we need to do.
Not for more politicians like J.D. Vance and Trump. Frick, no way. Nope. Not me. No, I'm not doing that. What? So then we can go to a war with like Russia or China, and I just don't know how these people get up there and act like what we voted them in for is what they're delivering on right now. It's crazy.
But at the same time, you have people out there who are actively trying to tear this country apart. They love to start fights.
You think she's just talking about the crazy left, or you think she's talking about like Candace and all of us? It's all of us. We're trying to tear this country apart because we don't want the war with Iran. We don't want all the craziness that he's been doing while in office and lying to us. And we want accountability. We want people convicted. We want people not convicted that aren't guilty. And we want the real guilty people to be convicted. We don't want a kangaroo court. We don't want a president that sends pictures of himself as Christ and then lies about it.
Dividing us all against each other.
No, that's you.
Spreading negativity.
You.
All to get clicks and influence the algorithm to maximize profits.
You.
Meanwhile, building is hard.
Oh my gosh. When are they going to tell her, like, we got to change our slogans, our talking points? You're not building anything, Erica. It was built already. You just walked into it fully built. Like, here it is. It's built. My husband did this. Now I just get to tear it down and say I'm building still. Erica, you're not building anything. I don't know what you think you're building, Hezekiah. Get down out of your ivory tower.
Getting out the vote, talking to real people, spiritual revival, that's actual work.
Okay.
That is actual work.
You won't talk to real people. You go to these events. You don't have real people ask you questions, which is what your husband literally did all the time, was answer questions from real people. Didn't have fake people planted in the audience to then ask easy softball questions to you and Caroline Levitt. You didn't show up to the well, no, you did show up, but then you just didn't go on stage because it wasn't to your liking. There wasn't enough people. It was going to look bad. But you don't talk and answer real questions from real people. I don't know. Am I missing something?
And my husband, Charlie, gave his life for that work.
I don't think that's what he gave his life for. No, I don't think he actually ended up giving his life for the thing you're saying. I think what he ended up giving his life for was speaking against corruption, foreign countries' involvement in our politics and our country, saying no to foreign wars, to Bibi, to being bought, bribed, and threatened. I think he died for freedom of speech, but not from the left. Yeah.
And what gets built lasts for generations long after the noise has run out of one-liners.
No, that's what we are. We're noise one-liners.
No one understands this better than President Trump.
Okay.
No one. No matter what they throw at him, he perseveres in the face of adversity.
Wait, what if he throws stuff at himself? Most of that he's doing right now is self-inflicted injuries and wounds. Well, I mean, it's kind of self-inflicted. It's self-inflicted because he has no backbone. He is not a real man. He's letting Bibi and all of these never-Trumper neocons like Levin and Graham and Cruz and Huckabee and Bibi and everyone else in that ilk make him do whatever they want. Because
the mission is too important.
What is that exactly? Smile.
because this country is worth fighting for, and he is not alone in this fight. And we are blessed to be Americans, and we are going to fight like it. And ladies and gentlemen, there is no one else I'd rather have on our side than President Donald J. Trump. God bless you guys.
Donald J. Trump. She can't say the word J. I don't know why. That is interesting. Let's go right to this, and then we're going to hit up the court case. All right, it's up. Cool. Ready, set, go.
I'm telling you, I have not seen one shred of convincing evidence that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk.
I agree.
Not one. To hop up on here to make sure everybody is aware of what is going on right now. I am seized, obviously, by the Charlie Kirk assassination trial. And I want to make sure I'm breaking down to the public what is happening, because there is a hearing live right now. The defense versus the prosecution. Prosecution is representing Erica Kirk because she is the victim on this case. And you might recall that Erica did this news hit a while ago. It was kind of weird, where she just asserted, and then they passed around, that she really wanted to make sure that her right to a speedy trial was observed. Okay. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Like, why? Well, it turns out that now we are understanding that this is going to be the prosecution's strategy. And I will be very clear here. I do not believe Tyler Robinson assassinated Charlie Kirk.
Nope.
And I believe that Turning Point USA is implicated in this moment in a cover-up of sorts. Okay. Yeah. What various roles were played. But it, to me, looking at the evidence, which I have done more than anybody else, there is a cover-up taking place. And this hearing proves it. Okay. So they were supposed to have a probable cause hearing in May. It is slated on the calendar. Yep. When they agreed to do this in May, the defense, Tyler Robinson's defense, was like, well, we shouldn't set a date until we all get our discovery requests. And they were like, we're just going to put it on the calendar. Don't worry. We're just going to throw it on the calendar. And then, of course, if you guys don't have what you need, the case will not go forward. Lo and behold, Erica goes on Fox News and says, I want to make sure it's a speedy trial on the victim, whatever. And so now we're hearing that directly from the defense, and the prosecution is not disputing this, they both agree that the ATF and the FBI will not hand over their data files that they have had in their possession since September, despite multiple requests from the—
This is correct. This is correct. Let's go here. We're gonna listen to more, but I mean, she's breaking down what I'm gonna break down, so I don't want to be redundant. Okay. Let me make sure it's on the screen. It is Tyler Robinson here.
Sure.
This is the prosecution.
Trina, do you mind allowing me to present?
You can present, dude.
I've got my settings ready too. Common sense says you don't unnecessarily continue a hearing, right? Why? Well, because it causes delay in the proceedings. In this circumstance, this is not a nominal delay. We're talking at least 6 months for the defense to get this material, review it, and consult their experts, and for their experts to be ready to present expert testimony. But more likely, even more than that, because there's litigation surrounding some of this expert investigation. One of the tests right now has not been performed because there's an objection to it. And we're waiting to litigate that issue, depending on what some of the—
Yeah, that's about the destructive testing that the ATF and the FBI want to do on the remaining part of the bullet jacket fragment. And yeah, and by the ATF and FBI's own definition, it is called destructive testing. Why can't they refuse that if it— or here's the other thing, they asked, okay, fine. If you are going to do it, then we want to be there, or at least you have to record yourself doing it. No, we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. Okay. Then no, you can't just destroy what we have left of this bullet jacket fragment. So yeah, this is the ATF report in reference. Oh, hold on. I got to get it right where I want it. There we go. All right. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Why does it do this? All right, there we go. I'm not going to hit it up too big. It's not letting me scroll up and down. All right, I'm going to leave it right there so it doesn't. All right, it's off-centered. I hope that's okay. All right, so the lab, this is the laboratory report for, and you guys, they did it in September. They did it in September. Yeah, the defense just got it like back in March. Okay, one Mauser model 98 30-06 Springfield caliber bearing serial number. So it has a serial number, right? All right. And then they have cartridges, right? And a cartridge case. Okay. These are the different exhibit numbers. And then they have one bullet jacket fragment. And then they have 4 lead fragments that were removed from the autopsy. Okay. Right. And let's see. Exhibit 1 rifle was test fired and found to be inoperable condition so that it works, is what they're saying. The test fires were designated as Exhibit 1.11. Let's see. Mainly the main part that I wanted to show in this is that we didn't even know that they found lead fragments as well. Not just the bullet jacket fragment, but they also have 4 lead fragments. Let's see. Oh, here at the bottom, it says that Exhibit 2 cartridge and case or cartridge case and Exhibit 3 through 5 cartridges were examined for the presence of comparable tool marks. Tool marks were located on the exterior of Exhibit 2 cartridge case and Exhibit 3 cartridges. These are the scribblings, the etchings that are on the cartridges, supposedly, and they're consistent with being produced by the engraving and or rotary cutting tips commonly found. All of which could have been done by anybody, right? So a bullet jacket fragment could not be identified or excluded as having been fired from the Exhibit 1 rifle based on an agreement of all discernible class characteristics and neither sufficient agreement nor sufficient disagreement of individual characteristics. The result of the comparison was inconclusive. And it states here that firearms that produce general rifling characteristics similar to those observed on the Exhibit 6A bullet jacket fragment include numerous makes and models, not just the Mauser 98. Right? Exhibit 6B through 6E, lead fragments are not suitable for microscopic comparison, so they can't do anything about the lead fragments found. And this report further regarding the conclusions listed above. Yeah, that's basically it from the report, and then the people signed. Yeah, let's go back to the case here.
Expert discovery shows. In addition, we're probably going to object to some of the expert discovery requests the defense has made and that they made on March 25th. So this is at least a 6-month delay, probably much longer than that, because some of these expert issues have to be litigated. And when you consider the purpose of the preliminary hearing, right, it's an initial stage of this process, right? It's designed to protect a defendant from having to sit in custody and wait for all the trial preparations without there being any showing of any evidence, right? The Rule 16, the preliminary hearing is designed to ferret out groundless prosecutions. Probable cause is a very low standard. Reliable hearsay is admissible. The court doesn't weigh the evidence at this stage. And that's because this is a very early stage of the proceeding. And the rules contemplate discovery and investigation ongoing throughout and even past the preliminary hearing and even all the way up until trial. So the question is a continuance necessary for the purpose of a preliminary hearing? And to understand that, you have to understand 2 things. 1, what is the purpose of the preliminary hearing? And 2, what is the evidence that's lying? And then you get to 3, is a continuance necessary? First, the purpose of a preliminary hearing is clear. There's very few principles in Utah law that are more clear than this. There is one purpose to the preliminary hearing and one purpose only, and that is to determine probable cause. Every time a defendant or a trial court tries to expand the preliminary hearing beyond that, whether it's on
the defense is not trying to do that. What they're saying is what you used in your probable cause statement, what you used as probable cause, a lot of it, they don't have any of the data or the actual, they haven't even gotten the rifle yet, you guys. They haven't gotten the rifle. And guess what? It looks like the New York Times or whoever it was came out today. Whoever it was that released the photo of the rifle, They came out today and said, yes, this is the rifle. That black rifle, that's like a stock photo, is supposedly the 1940s original authentic Mauser 98 that was a hand-me-down from grandpa to, to son to then Tyler Robinson, through Tyler's dad. It's just, but the defense hasn't even gotten that.
Constitutional due process grounds. Will it be relevant to a probable cause determination or not?
No.
Potential evidence tying him to the rifle, right? In that wooded area, police find the rifle. In the rifle is wrapped in a towel. In the rifle, they found 4 rounds. And these are...
Why in the photo is it in a box? Why is it in a box? And yes, the rifle, the original, the actual rifle would have his DNA and fingerprints on it because it's his freaking family's rifle. Why is the screwdriver not in any of the court documents, but it was listed as a piece of evidence? And why would he have left that on the roof if he disassembled it, but then reassembled it in the woods because you found it reassembled? But also, you need more than just like a regular freaking screwdriver to disassemble and assemble a rifle.
30-06 Remington rounds that have, 1 has been fired, 3 have not, consistent with the shot at Charlie Kirk. And all of these rounds are unique in that they have inscriptions on the brass. There's etchings on the brass with little political messages.
Yeah, anyone could have added those etchings. Anyone could have put those in his house. Like they found another one that matches the rest that were in the rifle, right? There's like 4 that were unfired in the clip down below, and then 1 that was fired, but it's a bolt action. So the casing is still in there. And they matched those to the ones or 1 that was back in the apartment. Literally, all of the things that they use as evidence, like it's so circumstantial. Anyone could have put those in his apartment, could have put those in the in the woods where they found the towel and the rifle. It wasn't there. Then the FBI shows up and then it's there.
Well, after the defendant turns himself in, there's a search warrant that's executed on his house. In that house, police find a Dremel tool, and they also find the same make and model of ammunition, Remington 30.
Yeah, and anyone could have put those there, right? Anyone could have put those there. I got a couple of supers I want to get to. So this was earlier. I didn't read it. So narcissistic, she had to add CEO, like we know. Yes, thank you for that. Jim Bear, where's the threat, Erica? Not real. She makes Sarah Palin look normal. Laugh out loud. Charlie earned his love and support. Erica has not earned anything from us. I agree 100%. Thank you for that super roast, Mary. And then we got dog and cat parent. Would there be lead fragments from the road mic battery? Or do you think the autopsy results are falsified? Well, John would be the correct person to ask about the type. Like, is it a lithium ion? Like, what kind of battery? I'm pretty sure batteries have lead in them. We'd have to, I'll ask John and I'll let you guys know that. But I also think that the autopsy was falsified. I think Barron even probably was alluding to that when he referenced the FBI flights that went to Idaho Falls, where Dr. Lee Trotter lives, right? And that they went there twice at specific times, like after the autopsy and before. And then after the video was released that Candace spoke about there not being an exit wound, and probably because Lee Trotter was the receiving surgeon that received Charlie when he came in, but not the person that did the autopsy. And they wanted to probably make sure that he was going to play ball, right? And it's interesting. His name is Dr. Lee DuPont Trotter. What do you know? But yeah, I think it's very likely that the autopsy was falsified, whether the, like a JFK moment, like, oh, look we found the bullet. Here it is on the gurney or on the operating table, or here it is, or did someone in transit, right? Like if John is, John Bray is accurate in saying that a bullet was fired. It went into the ballistic gel in the back of the van. All it would have taken was someone to get into the back of the van, use like a K-bar, some sort of like really sharp knife, cut into the ballistic gel, get that bullet out, run it over to someone in the security team before they took off with Charlie, and hand it to them. And then, someone could have shoved that bullet inside Charlie's neck. Okay. And from what John said and other people say, like when you shoot into ballistic gel, it destroys the round. It like absolutely destroys the round. And so there would have been significant damage to the round just from shooting in the ballistic gel. And it also is interesting why initially they said that the bullet was found just beneath the skin. That was like one of the first things that came out before the autopsy came out. Right. And that was one of the things that Brian and other people from TPUSA said, that the bullet was found just beneath the skin, which is so weird. It's almost like that is true because like if they shoved it in, right. Or if it's, well, even if it's the battery, you guys, John said he captures the battery falling out. Right. So the battery, if that is what penetrates his neck and causes the wound, it plugs the wound. We see a 4-second delay of the appearance of the wound and then the blood coming out. There's a pause. There's 4 seconds before the actual blood starts coming out, right? So you see the wound, 4 seconds goes by. Then you see this, object with right angles on it fall out, and then the blood starts pouring out as if it's like being uncorked, right? That fell on the ground. Did someone grab that? And no, I don't think so. I think regardless, the battery's not what they're referencing in the autopsy. They are referencing something else because that battery fell out of his neck. I don't think they're going to use that and put it back in his neck or put it in him later. It would be obviously when they start doing these ballistic analyses in the labs, there's no way they're going to, these, professional people doing the lab are going to mistake a battery for a bullet. There's characteristics on a bullet that's been fired through a rifle that just would not appear on a battery. Even if the battery is lead, even if the battery is metal and it was inside there, it's just under real scrutinous testing and analysis, they're going to know what that is. They're going to know that it's not a round. And so I think that at some point a bullet got to them, whether they put it in Charlie in transit in his neck or gave it to the person that did the autopsy and just said, this is what you found in Charlie and you found it here. And they did that. So I don't know.
Got 6. And not only that, but one of these rounds has etching on it, consistent with the etchings on the rounds found in the rifle, right? The etching found at his house says test shot, right? So that's the second category of evidence, is the circumstantial evidence tying him to the murder weapon. The third category of evidence is confessions. The state will present evidence that he left a handwritten note at his apartment for his lover to find. In that note, he says, I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Cook and I took it, right? This note was...
He just called him Charlie Cook, by the way. They're going to say time and time again, they're going to refer to Lance as lover. They say roommate, but then roommate, his lover, Tyler Robinson's lover. And they just keep driving that home. They want everyone to remember that they were in a, homosexual relationship and, these are crazy leftists and it's his lover. And oh my goodness.
Written before he left St. George and came to Orem and was left in his apartment. His roommate finds it, roommate/lover finds it. And this initiates a text message conversation back and forth between the lover and the defendant, where the defendant says, yeah, I shot Charlie Kirk. And I'm summarizing.
Yeah, you are, because he never said that.
I left the rifle behind. I had to leave the rifle behind, but I'm going to pick it up and then I'm coming home.
Yeah.
Then he also confesses to a group of friends on a messaging application. Before he turns himself in, he says, hey guys, it was me. I did it. Thanks for all the good times. Goodbye.
and all of this digital evidence. The defense hasn't received any of the actual data for their own analyses and have their experts look at to make sure that it was sent from Tyler. So they have Tyler's phone. The defense, they haven't even been able to get into Tyler's phone yet, guys.
And the final confession is
they're not stonewalling. They literally haven't been able to investigate themselves all of the things that the defense is going, or sorry, that the prosecution is going to present at the preliminary hearing. They have no way or means to argue against any of the pieces of evidence that they're saying are the pieces of evidence used for probable cause.
An acquaintance is a former law enforcement officer, and he helps arrange the defendant turning himself into the sheriff's office. And when he's talking to that former law enforcement officer, he says, "I got rid of the clothing I wore." Right? So there are three categories of evidence that have nothing to do, that show probable cause, have nothing to do with the DNA evidence, which is what defendant's issue is here. The fourth category of evidence is that DNA evidence. And you have to understand what that DNA evidence is. The towel that the rifle was found wrapped in was sent to the FBI lab for testing. There was also a screwdriver found on the sniper's purse.
Which is weird because that's not in any of the documents. It's referenced, but it's not in the documents. And all of the pieces of evidence, physical evidence that they tested for DNA, all have up to 6 people's DNA. And what the defense said is, we don't even know that they did the proper testing to exclude other family members with the same alleles. So they definitively say that it's Tyler's fingerprint and DNA on the trigger and on the towel. They completely gloss over and ignore that there's like 5 to 6 other people's DNA, some of which should be male family members, brother, father, grandfather, and of which, like, Barron and other people have said, like, yeah, if you grab a towel out of my freaking bathroom, out of my house, yep, my DNA is going to be all over it. My freaking skin follicle, my skin is going to be in there. My oil, my hair, it's all going to be in there. Yeah. And the FBI had access to the apartment. We know that weeks prior. That's what all of the neighbors said, right? And if Lance Twiggs is in on this in some way, shape, or form, and he's being threatened to, better shut up, boy, or you're going to be just like your boy. Yeah, he could have given them access, or they just gained access anyway, because it turns out from what I think Barron was saying is that it doesn't seem that Lance was living there at the time. He was trying to leave his parents' house. It was like, I can't leave my parents. I can't get away from my parents, man. Anything taken from Tyler's house is going to have his DNA on it. Anything, especially like family heirlooms, are going to have his DNA and fingerprints on it. Yep.
It was also sent to the FBI lab for testing.
Yeah, you like that.
The rifle itself was sent to a different lab, the ATF Lab, for DNA testing. And both labs tested those materials.
Oh yeah, Jack Posobiec said the other day, he was like, and the ATF and the FBI are the best at this, you guys. They're just the best. They're the best. Yeah, Ruby Ridge, they're the best. The Weaver family, the Branch Davidians, Waco, Texas, Oklahoma City. Are they? Did you guys see the Making a Murderer, Stephen Avery? Do you know what the FBI did in the testing in that case? When they drew Stephen Avery's blood and had it on file to test his DNA against the DNA that they find at the crime scene, somebody went in to that vial of DNA that they drew from him, put a syringe in it. You can tell when it's punctured. It's sealed. It was unsealed. Someone went in, punctured it, took out some DNA because they know there's stuff in it when they take DNA and it's put in these vials to keep it from spoiling and keep it from coagulating. That when you test that kind of DNA, you can tell that it was in a vial. And what do you know? These perfect drops found on the freaking car had that compound in it. Yeah, FBI. Yeah, that's the ATF. That's the people that we're talking about here. Yeah, the best in the business at framing people.
Materials completely independently of each other, different analysts, different labs, different locations. Both of them come back showing the defendant's DNA on those materials. Okay, the screwdriver, the towel, and the gun.
All of which would have his DNA if you took it from his house, moron.
I say they found the defendant's DNA on those materials. The experts and the reports that we'll present at the preliminary hearing were much more precise than that, right? Really what they say is there's astronomical odds that this DNA belongs to anyone but the defendant. But you'll see that, and I think you take my meaning here. The point is that there is substantial evidence of probable cause.
Wait, no, somebody, I'll share it now, ladies. Man, ladies, it's all good. I got you. Somebody wrote it. It's right here. Mystic, the wise woman built her house, but with her own hands. The foolish one tears hers down. Proverbs 14:11. This is Erica, not building. She's tearing down. Queen Renita Sophia. Oh my gosh. When I read that right now, I thought of Sophia the First because my kids loved that show growing up. Oh, that will be my, like when I think of you, Renita, I'm thinking Sophia the First. Queen Sophia, Princess Sophia the First. I love you guys. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Erica's not building nothing. She's tearing it all down. What do we got here? We got, oh yeah, I answered that one. All right, let's get back to it. My nose like never itches. And then I get in here and I start talking and I'm on camera and my nose itches all the time. I don't understand it.
Far exceeding what probable cause requires. And it comes from a variety of sources. And so the defendant cannot show that the material he wants to present at the preliminary hearing would defeat probable cause. And in his reply, he says, well, that's circular because how could we make that showing if we don't have the underlying data to be able to attack the DNA evidence? Well, first of all, that attack wouldn't even affect those first three categories of evidence, right? The confession, the circumstantial evidence tying the defendant to the rifle, or the video evidence, right? But even if they...
You guys want to know something funny? So when I watched this earlier to timestamp it, it was live. You guys know what happens when you write timestamps down before it's ended, right? Before a live video is ended, if you write down the timestamps at that time, it doesn't end up being the correct timestamps because it's not over yet. So it's, you know, my timestamp of 1 hour and 16 minutes and 48 seconds was when only 3 hours had been the full length of the video. But by the end, if the full length of the video is like 6 hours, my timestamp is all off. So I had all these perfect timestamps down based on watching it live. And, you know, at least I know where it is generally. So the part that I really want to just hone in on is coming up. It's this portion, but it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to come up. All right. I'm just letting you know, hang tight.
They were to find some expert that would say both labs independently got this wrong. And even if there's to find that kind of expert, which I think is speculation and probably against the grain, but regardless, you take that assumption, it still wouldn't defeat probable cause. Because at this stage, the court doesn't weigh contrary evidence, right? The standards are very clear. At this stage, because it's such an early stage with such a limited purpose, the court views all evidence in the light most favorable to the state, right? That's State v. Virgin. So in summary, the defense has not shown that the motion to continue is based on the purpose of the hearing, a fair determination of probable cause. So
correct, Len Coco. He has not confessed or pled guilty. And in fact, the best they can do is cite these notes that anyone could have written, and then he burned up, but then there's a photo of it. So he's like, I'm going to write a note, but then burn it, but I'm going to take a photo of it. Or the Discord chats, text messages that clearly weren't written by him. And then supposedly he, confessed to his family and that, LDS family friend member. No. Because Governor Cox and others, when they spoke about this early on, were like, no. He implied, he all but confessed. He implied that he did it. How do you imply? How do you imply that you murdered someone? Murder? How do you imply that? I don't know. It's freaking...
haven't shown it, and they haven't even tried. And I think one of the reasons they haven't tried is because they know that these are experienced practitioners. They know what the standard is here. It's low. The evidence is viewed in the light most favorable to the state. They're not going to be able to defeat a confession, multiple confessions nonetheless.
You know, like how he just says stuff like it's a fact. Multiple confessions. Can you show us one confession of him on tape saying, "Yeah, I did it"? Can you show us that interrogation room video that exists, that we know exists now? Barron broke that story. We know that it exists of him coming in at least. Where's that?
Or DNA evidence, right? And if the continuance was granted, it would affect the victim's right to a speedy trial.
A victim's right to a speedy trial does not supersede the defense's the defendant's rights to a fair trial, to presumption of innocence, and his life's on the line. This is insane. His amendments, his rights outweigh her right to a speedy trial, for sure.
And frankly, like the Lopez case, it would obviate the repeated and express admissibility of reliable hearsay at preliminary hearings. And that leads me to the second point, which is a textual analysis. So the defense says, well, Article 1, Section 12, Rule 16 require expert discovery before the preliminary hearing. Let me try to see if my computer will present again. It's not out for the video. Let's see. I'm showing it's connected.
Okay. All right. Get it together, bud.
One is the use of the language here. Prosecution team. When we talk about mandatory disclosures under A1, we're talking about what the prosecution team has, right? Prosecution team has been interpreted in the case law to mean, right? The rules of statutory construction say you presume all omissions are intentional, right? They use distinct language here, and they did it for a reason. The reason is because the preliminary hearing is such an early stage of the proceedings, right? We all know investigation at the preliminary hearing stage is continuing. We all know the state, the prosecutors are still getting material from the investigative agencies. We know investigative agencies have processes for getting reports and approving reports and disseminating reports. We know expert witnesses, oftentimes by the preliminary hearing, haven't even started their work, right? Procedure and of any scientific test or experiment. We've provided those reports, okay? What the defense wants is complete and total expert notice and expert discovery.
That's not true.
We've even complied with A1 as it relates to what the prosecution team has with regard to the reports. Okay, so Article 1, Section 12 doesn't require discovery before the preliminary hearing. Rule 16 doesn't require full, complete discovery before the preliminary hearing. Well, is there any other provision of authority we should be looking at here? Well, how about the provision of authority that is directly on point with regard to expert notice? Let's take a look at that. 77-17-13. 1A, if the prosecution or the defense intends to call any expert to testify in a felony case at trial or at any hearing, excluding a preliminary hearing held, the witness shall provide the opposing party procedures. And those are listed in that 225-page document.
I just want to hear the
due diligence that should be encouraged and incentivized to preliminary hearing pursuant to Article 1, Section 12 of the Utah State Constitution. That's it. The defense concedes this point. Now, the point I'm making is what the defense makes right here in the next sentence. However, defendant relies upon this initial discovery request through trial, post-preliminary hearing to enforce
arguments that Mr.
What
McBride
happened
made.
to the part?
But I also want to refer the court back. The FBI has not turned over anything,
Yeah.
according to Mr. McBride, that might
Where's the
present
part where
evidence.
he talked
have not
about?
said
Hold on.
postponing this for the sake of postponing this.
Hold on. Where is the part he gets up?
wait to give to expert testimonies, but it is not necessary to a preliminary hearing. We're talking at least 6 months is clear. There's very few principles in Utah law that are more clear than this. There is one purpose to the preliminary hearing and one purpose and it has real effects on the evidence that may be presented at trial. Okay? It's clearly
Man.
him. He's driving his gray
Oh,
Dodge
here we go.
Charger.
Here we go.
I should say he's from St. George, so this isn't just a casual pass. Not be granting a motion to continue and
All right. This is the part that I was looking for. Okay. I'm so glad I found it.
delaying the proceedings unless it's necessary, especially for such a lengthy period. The next stage in understanding whether or not a continuance is necessary is, one, understanding the purpose, the limited purpose. Two is, what's the evidence going to be at the preliminary hearing, right? Because if you understand what the evidence is going to be, then you can determine, well, is what the defense wants to present, is that going to affect the probable cause determination, right? The only way to know that is to know kind of what the evidence is going to present. That's why Lopez says you listen to the evidence first, and then you should consider, in that case, whether or not the defense should be able to subpoena the victim. And I think the same analysis applies here. Listen to the evidence first, then you ask the defense, well, what are you going to present, and will it be necessary? Will it be relevant to a probable cause determination or not? Put another way, will the defense be able to show that whatever evidence they want to present is likely to defeat probable cause? If they can't make that showing, it would be an unnecessary continuance.
I shouldn't have gone back.
So let me give you a proffer of what the evidence will be at the preliminary hearing.
Okay, here we go.
There's really four categories of evidence. The first is surveillance from UVU.
Here we go.
Now, UVU has a great surveillance system.
Yep.
And they capture the defendant coming on to campus at about 7 a.m. or I think about 8 a.m. Okay.
And when they say on campus, they don't really mean on campus, like on the grounds. He parks in the parking lot and then walks around campus.
It's clearly him. He's driving his gray Dodge Charger. I should say he's from St. George. So this isn't just a casual passing by Utah Valley University. This is a 3.5-hour drive from his home.
Okay.
250 plus miles from his home.
Yeah. We agree that he probably is involved somehow, but unwittingly, unknowingly, to what degree, what part was he playing? Definitely not on campus firing the rifle, right? But a peripheral role, like dropping things off, picking someone up, providing clothes, throwing things away.
They capture his car pulling into the Utah Valley University parking structure.
Yeah.
Gets out of the car. He's wearing his favorite Hurley hat, a maroon t-shirt, shorts, and Converse shoes. The same clothing he's wearing when he turns himself in the next.
Shorts and Converse shoes, right? That is what we see one of the people in the Lyman photo wearing, not the Eagle Boy, but one person in the Ring doorbell footage camera is wearing shorts, a maroon shirt, and a hat. It's possibly that was him walking at some point early in the morning, doing something. I don't know. Maybe even they just said, go walk around and get captured on camera.
Day. Clearly him. There's good facial images and everything. He walks around campus and he scouts campus out.
Hear that? He walks around the campus, not on campus, around the campus, and scouts the campus out.
He then leaves the campus.
Leaves. Okay.
UVU surveillance then captures him return later. He returns on foot right before the Charlie Kirk event. He's wearing a disguise of sorts. He's wearing
disguise of sorts. So he's prefacing everything that's about to come next with a disguise of sorts. That's interesting. Words are important. Is that because he doesn't look like Tyler Robinson? This Eagle Boy, when he returns, looks different. So much so that you're saying he's wearing a disguise of sorts.
Wearing a baseball cap, different baseball cap, pulled low. He's got sunglasses on, a different shirt, different.
Is that really a disguise, you guys? Could you just say a hat and glasses are a disguise? A different hat, a pair of glasses, a different shirt, pants. That's a disguise. No, he's alluding to something else. And earlier he said it's clearly him. We have clear photos of him early in the morning when they know it's him. But these photos, these video cameras of Eagle Boy, they're not clear. It's not clear that it's him. So much so that he has to say he's wearing a disguise of sorts.
Pants, but the same Converse shoes. That's all seen in the surveillance. He's limping because there's a rifle down his pants.
Really? He's limping. You see the rifle down his pants? We don't. We actually see him walk up the stairs, bend both legs at different times. Not him, but Eagle Boy. There's nothing down his pants. His pants are so tight, you can see the outline of his phone in his front right pocket, but you can't see a freaking Mauser down his pant leg. A Mauser is 45 to 49 inches long, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't just fit in your pants. It would go up to your armpit. I'm 5'11", 6 foot. I held the measuring tape out. It goes all the way down to the ground, and it goes up into my armpit. That's how big this rifle would be. The kid, you can see, has nothing under his arms. Oh, it's broken down. So it's in both pant legs? He bends both pant legs. How does he keep it? How does he keep it from falling out the bottom of his pant legs? He's not holding him. It's taped to him. He's got it tied to his legs. This is insane.
The surveillance captures this individual.
He slips. He slips at times. He slips. He knows it's not the same person, right? He would have just said Tyler. He slips, though. The subconscious is such a brutal enemy of the conscious. It shows its ugly head. It rears its ugly head when you least expect it. You have a Freudian subconscious slip where you say things you weren't trying to say, but it's in your brain. It's there. You can't help it. This individual.
Again, I don't want to overstate the evidence because
don't.
pictures of his face at this time are not as definitive as they were earlier.
Ooh. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen. The photos that they used that supposedly the parents identified him. He even states it. It's not clear. These aren't good photos. It's not clear that it's him. I get it. He's even wearing a disguise of sorts. But these are the videos and photos that, well, the video's even worse. It's a little dude running and jumping off a building. Nobody knows who that is. Definitely not his parents. Didn't look at that and go, oh, honey, that's Tyler. Nope. So it's only the photos of Eagle Boy walking down the steps, under the tunnel, up the stairs, that this prosecutor just said it's not as clear as the earlier photos of him, because those were Tyler. When he was in the maroon shirt and shorts and Converse and his Hurley hat, that was Tyler. But he was only there early in the morning, not on campus, not in the tunnel, not up the stairs, not on the Losi Center roof, not with pants, not with a rifle, scouting out around campus. Those are clear photos. But for some reason, the same campus, the same security system, now these photos, the ones that are of the actual suspect, Eagle Boy, aren't clear. They're not clear at all. You can't even tell who it is. And he has to say it. Oh, and Tyler's wearing a disguise of sorts. It's so clear what they're doing, you guys. It's more than one person, and he knows it.
Because of the sunglasses and the hat.
Oh.
But it captures his face, captures his appearance, his height, his build, all consistent with how he looks earlier in the day and how he looks today in court.
No, the dude's complexion is dark and olive. What? All you have to do is find someone his same height, around the same age, around the same weight, and then you're able to say that he around the same build as he appears today, 185 pounds, 5'11". Yeah, those things don't change much, you know? And I couldn't really say that a freaking a hat and glasses make it to where you could clearly see him earlier. He was wearing a hat. You said that it's clear that it's Tyler earlier in his Hurley hat, but now all that's different on his face is a pair of sunglasses. And you're saying now it's a disguise, pair of sunglasses, or a disguise, I guess, guys. And now it's hard to tell. And that these photos, these video photos are just it's not clear, but it's the same build. It's around the same age, around the same height. So it's him.
But he makes his way to the rooftop. makes his way to the sniper's perch on the rooftop, takes the shot, and then runs to the northeast, drops off the building. And
They say that he takes the shot. You know what they never say is that they have him taking the shot on camera. They don't have that. It's not in the documents. It's never cited ever that they have it on camera, him taking the shot. The documents say they have video evidence of the person that they call Tyler Robinson, we call Eagle Boy, walks up the stairs, over, goes out of the view of the camera, comes into the view of the camera, runs, then low crawls to the perch. And then it says, and then the video captures after the shot, just after the shot, the video captures him running and jumping off the roof. They never say they have the video of him shooting at all.
and runs to the northeast of campus into a wooded area. That's all captured on video.
Not
Okay,
the
that's
shot.
the first category of evidence is the video surveillance that shows the defendant on campus taking the shot. The second point is circumstantial evidence tying him.
Yeah. Then why didn't you write that in the charging documents? Why is that in the probable cause statement? Why isn't that in any of the preceding court documents that you have him taking the shot? You've never written that down, because once you've written that down, you're, and I can't believe you're saying it. It's on the record now. I guess we'll see. Let's see. Let's go to Nestor. She has a great part. Let's hear Nestor. Nope. Where's Nestor? Nestor, where are you? Is it right here? Hold on. There she is. How far back? Yeah, right here.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kathy Nestor on behalf of Mr. Robinson. I don't know if you recall, it's been a long time, but when we were first setting this prelim, I mentioned to the court that for the months of February and March, I would not be available. I was involved in a murder trial in Summit County. And so for the entire months of February and March, I was not able to work on this case. The trial ended, I think, March 17th or 18th. Then I got sick for like 10 days. So I have not been able to turn back to Mr. Robinson's case until the beginning of this month. In the time that I was in trial, we've had 7 disclosures from the state. Many of those disclosures involved thousands and thousands of pages. One of the biggest disclosures we got was on March 5th while I was in trial, and it consisted of the entire FBI file, which was massive. That's what I've been focusing on the last 2 weeks, reading it as fast as my eyes can read it, because a lot of the reports, I think, that are going to come out through the SBI originated through interviews with the FBI. So I've been trying to get my head around that file. And that's just one portion of one of the 7 disclosures. And there were thousands of pages.
Yep.
And I think I've made it through the FBI file now, but that I haven't even touched any of the rest of it. And as lead counsel, I do expect to have at least a portion of the witnesses at the prelim. I share Ms. Visser's concern about, even though there's only 35 exhibits they're going to introduce, that doesn't limit the testimony that's coming in. And I feel like if I'm going to do a job, a good job, that I need to be able to be familiar with everything that officer has touched, and really what the SBI has done generally. We went to examine
The SBI is the State Bureau of Investigations for Utah.
physical evidence this past week. This week, it took us 6 hours. We did finish what the SBI has. However, we still have never seen the gun. The gun is at Quantico. So we've never been able to look at the gun. I actually think that's really important for purposes of the hearing. So I have some concerns about that. I also have not been able to get into my client's phone. The electronics that we have required an expert because they're so massive. We had to all get these huge hard drives shipped to us from our digital expert. I have not looked at my client's phone, and that concerns me, especially because the state's indicated they may call individuals uniquely connected to my client. I'm not going to say who, because I don't want to commit you guys if you call them or not. But we've been given the names of some witnesses they may call. and what is on my client's phone, I think is going to be really important. So I would share Ms. Vistor's request for form.
They haven't even been able to get into Tyler's phone. Yeah. The FBI and ATF have not given over their lab, like actual data results, like how they obtained the conclusions that they obtained, what they did. And when the prosecution was asked earlier if they intend to call the ATF and FBI agents, yes, they do, but not to testify in court, only to read their conclusory statements.
4 months. I will tell you, I handle quite a few murder cases in the state.
Yep.
I think my last murder case that we had a prelim, we continued it, I think 3 times, and there was 2 terabytes. This case has over 200 terabytes. So I think in the scheme of preliminary hearings and timing, this is not unusual or out of the ordinary for a homicide case in the state, especially one this complex. So personally asking for a little more time, setting the DNA completely aside. Even if the court, even if they get up and say, forget it, we're not going to introduce the DNA, even if you say, I'm not going to listen to the DNA, the rest of it is still significant. I also have some concerns that we do have a notice of intent to seek death with an aggravator. So I assume we're going to go forward with that at the prelim. No one's discussed that. If that happens, that does require really careful review of the scene itself, which I don't know that we're there yet, but we're close. I mean, we definitely have looked at so many videos. I think I've memorized the face of everybody in the crowd. But if we're going to go forward and the court has to make a decision, if you're binding over on whether or not it's capital, whether or not there's an aggravator.
I actually think Catherine Nestor is a good lawyer, and I think she's actually going to provide adequate defense, and I think his whole team is. I think that the prosecution, the media, TPUSA, and Erika Kirk has done everything they can to cast aspersions and make them look inadequate, incapable, and corrupt, like they are just trying to prolong this for the sake of prolonging it, when honestly, nope, they just, can we just have the evidence? Can you just show us what you guys did to get to your conclusory statements so that we can know what you did? And then we can have our experts say like if that's correct or not, and we can have our experts test the evidence. Yeah, no, the prosecution tends to not give them anything in due time so that they will be rushed in the preliminary hearing and not mount an adequate defense, right? I was sent a statement by Lionel, who was a lawyer as well, as Barron. So the United States Constitution, which guarantees a speedy trial, a speedy and public trial to the accused, not to victims. Courts analyze alleged violations under the Barker v. Wingo balancing test, focusing on delay, reason, assertion, and prejudice to the defendant. Victim preferences may inform scheduling considerations, but they do not alter or expand the defendant's constitutional protections. And that's what I had said earlier. His constitutional protections outweigh any rights that Erica is asserting as a victim. Yeah. And that just shows how disgusting and corrupt they are. His life is on the line, and she's like, I want a speedy trial. I want a speedy trial. Give me a speedy trial. Wait, can you please show me where the cookies are? You want cookies? You want to have the cookies? I hid the cookies. I hid the cookies from the girls. They eat all the cookies and their friends, and then we have no cookies for you and me. The cookies are here. They're in here. You can't get them. You'll be on camera. You don't want to be on camera. No cookies for you. You'll have to wait till we're done. Yeah, I'll be live for another 10 minutes. The chat is asking, does the chat want me to end? You guys are like, shut up, dude. Can you just stop already? Is that what you're saying? or no, someone has to leave and come back, or is something else about to happen in the online? They're like, hurry up, Matt. No, I want to go to the store real quick. Okay, yes, go to the store. Go to the store, Gemini. Go to the store. Yes, I'll be live for 10 more minutes at least. At least. Yes, you're good. Nar. MRK. Nar. Oh, I need to learn more about the Idaho 4. Oh yeah. Well, once we get, and okay, I said this earlier, right? And I think Barron said this too, was if ever definitive proof comes out that Tyler did this, I'll be the first to apologize and say like, okay, I had it wrong. And yeah, the full extent of the law should be used to prosecute, convict, and hold him accountable. I don't think that will ever happen, because I think all the evidence that we've seen to this point, which is like all of the evidence that they're using for probable cause to arrest and to keep him detained, is BS. Like there's no like more evidence. Like they use the best evidence to gain the charge, to arrest him, probable cause. Like that's like the bulk of it, and none of it that we see is like, So I mean, but yeah, the moment we either, definitively have Tyler is or is innocent and we get him out and we hold the responsible parties accountable, yeah, I definitely will go more into the Koberger case and the Idaho 4. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Yep. That was just down in starts with an M. Why am I not thinking of it right now? It's not far. It's not far from where I live. It's really close. Yeah. Let's see, MRK, I'm not active in the chat at the moment. I am listening and reading along. I just suddenly craved ceviche. I like ceviche. So I've been making it this whole time. Ooh, I really like ceviche. I do. MRK, you're making me hungry. Stop it. Moscow. Yes, Glenn, Coco. I knew it started with an M. Yeah, it's not far from here. Yep. All right, let's get back to it. All right. That's the bulk of what I wanted to show today. That you guys know, like Bueller, that, that's this guy. This guy is just going to,
I'm sorry, to include CNN.
watch. This guy's just going
Not
to,
only that, like here, he's reading it, but when you see it in the graphics, it shows text message that implies this is the actual text message on a phone that came from the defendant, and it's not. So it's very prejudicial and misleading.
So you see on your slide, this serves as sort of a mega.
actually he did. I clicked on the one clip of him where he wasn't putting me to sleep, but let's go back here. Let's hear Candace.
Defense. They're like, we literally cannot have this hearing because we have not been given any data files.
Correct.
What am I talking about? This is crucial. Erica's team is arguing, we want the hearing to go through anyways. It's just a probable cause hearing. Okay, but they are basing this probable cause hearing. They want this to be televised, and they're going to say, what evidence do you have that Tyler Robinson did this? And the prosecution is going to say, well, we have his fingerprints that are on the gun. Well, what they're not telling you is that they're saying they have his fingerprints on the gun. That's just a summary report that the FBI gave to the defense. The defense is saying, okay, now can we see the digitized files? Can we see the fingerprints? Can we see your process and how you got this? No.
Nope.
You just get the summary. The summary report is all you need.
Yep.
No, actually, we need to make sure that what you're saying you saw and what you have is real. Also, aren't there 5 other sets of print? No, all you get is our summary report saying that Tyler Robinson's fingerprints are on the gun. Similarly, the ATF is also refusing to hand over for some unknown reason. It actually is kind of a known reason. Like, we don't know, but we know the reason of talking about the gun. They are also unable to get the chain of custody. Again, probable cause hearing. Erica's prosecution is going to say, well, we saw Tyler Robinson get onto the rooftop at this time. We saw Tyler Robinson get into his car at this time. Well, the defense is saying they won't give us the chain of custody. So basically, we can't dispute anything they're saying. It's possible, highly possible, that actually those images were taken on a different day.
Yep.
How do we know if you don't hand us over the files, if we can't see the chain of custody, how these files were created, who it was transferred over to? Otherwise, all we have is a report that says, well, Tyler Robinson, the FBI concluded, jumped onto the rooftop at 12:19 p.m. before taking a shot at Charlie Kirk. We don't have to give you any more. That is the argument that Erica's team is making right now.
Yeah.
That, well, it's just a probable cause hearing, so it doesn't really matter. We want things to go through. She's a victim. She wants things to happen quickly. And their defense is making a very valid, a very layered, a not complex argument for anybody who has common sense to understand that there can be no going forward until we have what we need, because we can't dispute what you're saying. We're just supposed to trust me, bro, when it comes to the FBI, who has butchered this case and told us the most unbelievable things since the very beginning.
And I referenced like 5 other places where they've done the same thing. So, I mean, yeah, trust no one and ask a lot of questions. I think that was one of Charlie's mottos for sure. Asking questions, it's what keeps us free. I'm adding the trust no one part of it. Trust no one in government. Yeah, I can agree with that.
This cannot happen. Never did I think that we would be alive for something like JFK. You grow up, you hear the stories about JFK, you hear the conspiracies, you hear about the corruption of the feds, you hear about LBJ's potential involvement, and you think this will never again happen in the United States of America, and we're never going to be able to experience that. That is happening right now. Every person should pivot, go find, there's live feeds on YouTube, there's live feeds that are on Twitter, and rewatch what is playing out right now in the courtroom, where they are arguing that the ATF and the FBI should not have to hand over their files, just their report, their summary, their conclusion, absent any digitized or data that is included in the summaries, and you should just trust them and go forward with the hearing. This cannot happen. This cannot stand. I will state again, over and over, with everything that I have looked at, I don't think there's a single soul who has given more of their life, spent more hours examining this case from every aspect than me, because I deeply care about this. And I am telling you, I have not seen one shred of convincing evidence that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk.
Nope.
Not one.
Nope.
Okay. And the fact that his wife is trying to play this, what I would say to be a sleight of hand, not granting a continuance, take it from someone who is perpetually sued. I have never been in a case where both sides don't just agree to a general continuance.
Yep.
Even me and Brigitte.
I mean, and I know like a murder trial could be different than like a lawsuit, but I mean, come on, this is insane with everything that we know now. You know, it's just insane. Yeah. Let's listen to these two talking heads.
You're that early?
It's a Simpsons joke, and I keep trying,
geez,
even though nobody
some
gets
people
it.
brag about getting their they're paying their taxes early. I'm like, how you get like your tax doc here? And it's been a bit of a whirlwind for me personally, but I'm very glad to be back in Phoenix after our event yesterday.
You didn't have any travel issues? No one was trying to take you out, Andrew? Andrew, you've aged a lot since the first time we saw you. I think you need some sleep, my man. Or drink some more of that krill. You need to drink that krill or whatever that thing is you sell all the time. You need to drink some of that.
The University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia, and it was quite the event.
What I do, I mean, like I do testosterone and I put on what does my wife get? It is castor oil. That's what it is. Lots of sleep, lots of exercise, lots of smiling, happy, no lying. Lying ages you. Trying to like lie and keep up with the lies. It's all the wrinkles, man.
Will say it was one that will stand out for me as far as what I remember. I mean, we've had so many events over the years, and it was.
You don't remember yesterday? From what you remember, you've had so many events over the years, but the event you're talking about was yesterday. Not for us watching this now. That was 2 days ago, but for him, that was yesterday.
A whirlwind, I will tell you. Obviously, the big part of the news was that Erica was she canceled her appearance at that because of security threats,
which we now know were lies. And she was there. Mr. Y Refi goes, thank you, Erica. Thank you, Erica. Yeah. So she was there. Yeah. And then the threats were so bad that just 2 days later, she does the event that we just watched today. Yeah. Secret Service said there was no credible threats, obviously, because JD got on the stage. You weren't threatened. You were there. Erica was in the crowd in the beginning. She just didn't get on the stage. Huh.
That were made against her. It was something we were, monitoring for days before the event. We actually had a high school event.
You were monitoring, but the Secret Service was not. Okay. I guess. I don't know. Maybe. New developments. Let's see. Oh yeah, I wanted to see what these jokers had to say about what we just watched.
In court tomorrow for a hearing on cameras in the courtroom. President Trump, though, going out and giving a
here it is.
Right
there.
Let's see. Let's get the shot up there so we could see the president.
No, here.
This ATF report with Tyler Robinson and this initial preliminary report that's come out. And Libby, I want to just double check that report. Even though it's just, we've just gotten this information yesterday, when was that report actually done? When was it conducted?
September 17th.
That report was done in the fall. That report was done months and months and months ago, and it revealed.
You don't know the date? It says it at the top of the page. September 17th, 2025. Just letting you know.
That the bullet that was
Libby Emmons. I knew a Libby once. I did not like her. I do not like you, Libby Emmons.
The fragment that was recovered from Charlie Kirk during the autopsy, and I'm no firearms expert.
Then you should shut up. I'm just kidding. I'm not a firearm expert either, but I know how to read.
Here, but I read the report.
She knows how to read too. She read the report. That's cool. Okay, check. We can both read.
It reveals that it was .30 caliber and.
Yep. That it was, but there's a lot of different kind of .30 caliber weapons and rounds. Go look at John Bray. He did a whole post on it. It didn't really narrow anything down for us.
That the gun was as also .30 caliber, if I understand.
You do. I don't know if you understand, but it is a .30 caliber 30-06 Mauser 98. Yep.
My terminology correctly. And so that was.
But Libby, can we have? So you said. Wait. I just want to. Before you go off on the rest, I just want to be clear. This report was conducted this week, or this report was conducted on September 17th.
He asked her. She's like, months ago. He knew the answer. Why didn't you just say it? Why didn't you just say like this report was conducted on the 17th? Yeah, but they didn't give it to the defense until this year, buddy. And they haven't even given over how they got the lab results, like how they arrived at their conclusions.
It was conducted September 17th. It was right after Charlie was killed.
2 days, yeah.
So this information, I want to be clear on this. This information, even though it is new to the public, because I want to talk about the provenance of the information.
Jack, I can't listen to you much at all because I had another clip of you from today. I had to skip over that one.
Give them a call, 972-PATRIOT.
Use
promo code. This report dropped this week, and it was kind of a bombshell. I think ATF report, the ballistics, Daily Mail wrote it up, much better write-up, I think, than their headline a couple of weeks ago. And even TMZ hitting it now, saying that.
Well, yeah, TMZ is the one that does your soft launches on everything, like all the video camera footage and everything. I realize all that he's going to say is about the 30 caliber. That's it. Yeah, it's a 30 caliber. Cool. Yep, we know that. Doesn't mean that is what killed Charlie at all. Doesn't mean that at all.
So you have a great resume. You have a great background in this. Tell us, what new evidence do we now know about because of this ATF report?
Yeah, and as we suspected the last time we spoke, Andrew, that
nothing. I don't have to let you talk. I'm just going to leave you looking like that, like you're about to sneeze. That's what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to let everyone look at you like you're just about to sneeze. Kazoon tight. You're done. All right. Okay, great. It's a 30 caliber round. Sweet. Yeah. Guess what it doesn't do? It's not, it's inconclusive that it's matched, fired from that rifle. Cool. So they made sure that whatever round they fired into the ballistic gel, took out, put on the table, or shoved in his neck on the way to the on the way to the hospital was the same kind of round that is the rounds that they staged at the apartment and that they recovered that are in the Mauser, the Remington rounds. Great. Okay, cool. Doesn't mean that's what was fired into Charlie's neck at all. Awesome. These are my opinions. Okay, I need to say that this is my opinions that they framed him, Tyler Robinson. It's my opinion that the FBI and the ATF planted the gun there. It's my opinion that he wasn't shot with anything. It's my opinion that they shoved either a fired round, the bullet jacket fragment in his neck, just beneath the skin, like was early reported on, or like JFK, they found it on the table, or they just handed it to the freaking the doctor doing the autopsy, and they're like, "You found this in his neck." Okay, yes, I did. All right, fine. And then they went and they threatened Lee Trotter or paid him, or I don't know. And they're like, "You're playing ball," or I don't know, lose your license, go to jail, die. That's my opinion. It's probably what happened. Yeah. That's about it. Is Gemini, are you back? Did you go to the store, Gemini? Let's see. Do we got any other supers? No. All right. That's weird. So the recording earlier said no data, but now it's fine. Okay. All right. YouTube, stop censoring me. What do you mean? What do you mean, Gemini? How is YouTube censoring you? Grr, Gemini. How is YouTube censoring you? I don't know. I don't see it. Yeah. All right. All righty. I think that is it. We're at 2 hours. I did that. Yep. I did it all. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I didn't do? I didn't ask you to hit the like and subscribe. We had over 300 people here for the majority of the time. 241 likes, not bad. That means 59 of you. Well, no, we have 303, so do the math at 70. I don't know. Some of you haven't hit the like. Can you just hit the like and subscribe real quick? Just hit it for me, please. It's just how you help. Everything else is free. One thing I haven't done in a while, which somebody did do a while ago. Wait, actually, I don't even have to take that off. I could just go like this. Bam. If you guys don't like giving your money through YouTube, okay, this is how you can donate to support this channel. I like this one because it has the boom. Okay. So you can donate this way if you don't want YouTube to take part of your money. Okay. It goes straight to support this channel and the work that we do here. All right. What else? Yep. Thank you. Hit the like, hit it. Show some love. I love it. Let me look at something real quick while you guys are here. Don't go. Stay. I stayed for you, Gemini. Stay for me for a second. Let's see. We are at 8,843 subscribers. So we are still climbing. Need to get to 9,000 and then eventually break 10,000 will be the next big milestone. So hopefully that is in the works. And yeah, let me see. I think there was one other thing. I wanted to show Nihilist with a twist. She's going to be coming on the show. Mitch Snow is going to be coming on the show. Matt Tusseroni is going to be coming on the show. He's the guy that used to work at TPUSA and left. Mitch Snow's the gentleman that saw Erica Kirk, Cabot Phillips down at Fort Huachuca. And then who else did I say? And then Nihilist with a Twist. Let me find her video. Why is it not in my history? All right, I'll just type her in real quick. Because she did a really good part. Where is it? I found why Erica looks up. Yes, that one. And what's great, oh man, I can't make it big without hitting share to screen. Hold on. Boop, 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 boop. Don't go, please stay. Give me a second. I'm getting there. I did this backwards. So I have to go back and forth, back and forth. Here we go. All right. So we get to watch a video of Charlie as well. Back up. Oh my goodness.
You want to find power shows the man. You want to find out a lot about somebody, give them a bunch of power. Power shows the man.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So many people have been searching why does Erica Kirk look up so much when she talks? And I was wondering the same thing, and here is what she has to say about it.
How long did it take you to fall in love with him?
That's the funny thing is it was.
I can't tell you because I never fell in love with him. I'm speechless. Hold on, let me think. It's a bit.
It's so interesting because when we were sitting there, I felt
So freaking weird. Oh my gosh, you guys. If my I just can't. I can't. Hold on. If I was present and someone was like to my wife, they're like, so when did you fall in love with them? And she was like, it's funny. I would be like, wait, what? I'd be like, wait, what? You don't know? Like right away. I could tell you we were at Beach Break Cafe in Oceanside, California. She pulled up in this beater car with her friends, and she was in the back, and she had blonde hair. She had a streak of colored purple hair. It was like fading because it was old. And I immediately looked at her and was like, yeah, I think I like her a lot. And then the rest of that night, we went to the Del Mar Fair with her and her friends. And yeah, like right away knew I loved my wife immediately. Both her personality and her looks immediately. I know exactly where it was. Yeah. So we went from Beach Break, then we went to this taco restaurant in Carlsbad. And then what did we do after that? Then we walked in this like private community off Cassidy Street in Oceanside, it's like this Dutch community, which is really cool. They're like these massive homes, but they look like they're, like the Hobbit village, Lord of the Rings, but they're on the beach. It's really pretty. And then we went to the Oceanside Harbor, and we listened to this guy play really cool music on a guitar at this cafe inside the Oceanside Harbor. And then we're like, what are we going to do? And then I was like, I could get us all into the Del Mar Fair. People like leave and they have their tickets, and you just walk in, they'll give you your tickets. And we went there and we rode on a ride, and she touched my hand, and I come to find out later, she's never been on another like ride with me because she gets extremely motion sickness. And so she went on the ride because she wanted to be next to me, which was cool. I didn't know that at the time. She's like, she can't do roller coasters and like extreme rides. But she did that night. So she could be next to me, which was cool. So, yeah, I know exactly where I was, where I knew like that I loved, at least was like falling in love with her for sure. So yeah, total BS. I can't believe this woman can't just say, when she knew she freaking fell in love with her husband. Yeah.
In love with how brilliant he was to be able to articulate what he believed in.
You fell in love with the ability that he had to articulate what he believed in. Yeah, I've never heard that. I've never heard that as a reason of falling in love. And if my wife said that, like I fell in love with his ability to articulate the things he believed in, I would be mortified. I would be nervous. I would be thinking, holy smokes, I think you might be an agent for a foreign country and you're trying to slowly put cyanide in my coffee without me knowing. That's what I would think.
And when he said, I'm not going to hire you, I'm going to date you, I knew that was the Lord, because there were so many times where I said,
wait, so not even then? So even when he was like, I want to date you and I don't want to hire you, not even that made you like begin to fall for him. No, you just knew at that moment that was the Lord. Okay. The question was, when did you know you fell in love with Charlie Kirk? That was the question. You still haven't answered it. Just letting you know. Just got to remind you.
my future husband that's out there, he will literally.
Nihilist, you crack me up. She's like, ugh. Yeah, that's what this is. Watching her, I agree.
It will be. The only reason why I look up is because the Lord says to look up, and that was something to look up to when someone's like, I'm going to date you. And so but honestly, it was the constant consistency of.
Yeah, that's the most attractive thing in a man. The constant consistency. That made me go, oh, woo. When I tell my friends, why I fell in love with Charlie, I tell them the constant consistency. Yes, that's what does it for me. Consistency. Yes, even though I can't be consistent in any public speaking engagement at all. I can't even be consistent with my train of thought and the things in my story and my timeline and my past and my life. I liked his consistency because I'm the least consistent person in the world. Yes. Opposites attract.
I'm here for you. The little texts in the morning, and then it just continued to grow.
So you loved him because he loved you. What you loved about him was that he fawned over you. You loved him because he worshiped you. You loved him because he was like probably just a great husband and a great boyfriend and a great fiance. And he looked at you and was like, man, I've hit the lottery. Like, she's gorgeous, she's smart, she's intelligent. And for all intents and purposes, you fooled him to believe that you loved him. But you can't even answer directly to Megan, when did you know you loved him and why? Consistency, his ability to articulate what he believed. The fact that he texted me and was consistent with just checking in with me and showing me that he loved and supported me, Erica. The question was, when did you love him?
In a beautiful way.
First, I got very angry because she didn't know how to reply to what Megyn Kelly asked her. When did you fall in love with Charlie? And she was like, She didn't know because she never did, okay, in my opinion.
I agree.
And she keeps saying she's obsessed with him. She was, and she still is obsessed with him.
Yeah,
and
no.
I'm going to say it again. Obsession is not as, sweet as you make it out to be. Like, it's not okay to be obsessed with anyone or anything. It's not healthy. Next, she said that she only looks up because she knows that the Lord is up there or something along those lines. And she's lying again.
Yeah.
She looks up because she wears contact lenses. Here is Erica Kirk on a podcast with two other mothers explaining about womanhood and motherhood and why it's important to take care of yourself and your home. And she admits that she's wearing contact lenses, which is why she looks up, in my opinion.
In our home, sometimes
I watched. This was the most excruciating podcast, you guys. Do you guys want to know how many hours of my life I don't get back looking at all of the content that Erika Kirk had ever done? There are so many podcasts of her that I watched on just the worst, you guys. And I didn't ever use a single piece of content from them because they just were so bad. And this was one of them. I didn't know. I mean, good. Nihilist went through it too. She had to go through the ringer to find this one clip and I wear contacts. So yeah, if you're like eyes are open like this, like Erica does, and your eyes get really dry because you're just like this all the time when like you're just looking at people and you're saying like Satan and devil and like demonic. Yeah, you do have to look up and get them like fixed so that they don't fold. But this made me laugh thinking this is where she found it, because this was the most painful one of the most painful one I've watched. There's another one of a lady that has she was very hard to listen to, another lady. This one was hard.
I just tell the kids, all right, daddy's coming home. Let's pick up all the toys on the floor so that daddy can come home to a clean spot. Or even yesterday, we made homemade pimento cheese, Southern thing. And I said, we've got appetizer for daddy right when he gets home.
So sweet.
You know, little things like that is what I think of with loving him well and serving him well, no matter what's going on in our lives.
Yeah.
Because he had a busy day at work too. He probably missed the kids some at work as well, you know?
Totally.
Yeah, it's good.
And even just kind of taking care of yourself, not in a vain way, but like brush your hair. Maybe if you haven't brushed it in a few days, or like, you know, if you need to change your shirt because there's spit up on it, like maybe just put on a different t-shirt or something. I don't know, just, you know, take care of yourself.
Sometimes it's the little things.
Yeah.
And I find too, and I know this is personality specific, but for me, sometimes taking that time to take care of myself changes my attitude.
Totally.
And then I'm going to be a more pleasant person to
I
be
know.
around
Totally.
for you to come home.
And you're like,
So
I look human. I put my contacts in, I have mascara on.
Nothing wrong with contact lenses.
No, I wear contacts. I agree.
Let's make that clear. But I think she does look up so much, not because the Lord is up there and now Charlie's up there, but because she is afraid to ruin her makeup. She wants to look perfect for the camera.
I agree. I also think that she looks up as part of the, thank you, Nihilist, as part of her whole thing, right? Like she's downloading direct information, right, from God, right? You know, and just to remind everyone that she's looking up at Charlie, she's looking up at God, and she's getting fed information. The Holy Spirit is just directly, she's a conduit. She's just, you know, it's coming in and it's going out. I'm bringing it to you. That's also what I think it is too. All right. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Mystic, for the Black Line Brief memberships. I appreciate that. All right. Wait, Krista Lloyd. Wait, y'all. Wait, what? Krista, what are we waiting for? Krista, what are we waiting for? It's coaching to look up to the left eye, right eye body language. Okay. All right. You're awesome, Mystic. Yeah. Okay. I'm still waiting for, where'd she go? Where'd it go? Wait, y'all. What are we waiting for, Krista? Krista Lloyd, what are we waiting for? You got something? You're going to drop some deep knowledge? All right. I don't know how long I can wait, Krista. You made it. We're ending right now. Don't cry. I'm smiling. I'm my tushy's numb, and I got 2 pillows under my tush on a very comfortable chair. But when you sit so I got in here at 3 p.m. and it is 7:50. That's how long I've been in here, because I wanted to go early, but yeah, I was planning on going at 4. I had to change the time like 4 times because Baron went on Lionel at 4. And then they didn't end till 6. Well, then they ended at 20 minutes early, but I didn't know they were going to end till 6. So it was scheduled till 6. So then I went early, but yeah, I was ready to go early. MRK. Ner. All right. Everyone hit the like. Please don't forget. Love you guys. Tomorrow's going to be a great day. Stay tuned. God bless you guys. Okay. Take care.